Amplifiers. Sounds straightforward, right? They amplify. But how do they amplify? What kinds are there? And how do you know what one is right for you? I'm Josh, and this video is going to give an overview on your stereo system's electrifying turbo boost. An amplifier boosts line-level signals from your other components. It combines input voltage with musical signal to produce output power, which is measured in wattage. Without an amp built in, your speakers can't correctly express line-level audio signals on their own, so your amplifier serves as the power-driving middleman. When looking into amplifiers, you may have seen labels like power or integrated. Power amps are standalone amps that do as advertised. They boost the signal sent to them, but that's all they do. You'll need a separate preamp to increase the source signal to line level if you want to hear it, which means more money and space needed for additional components. But it also means more freedom for replacing and upgrading the individual pieces of your system. Additionally, power amps tend to be more powerful and less susceptible to added signal noise as opposed to its multifunction counterpart. On the other hand, there are integrated amps. These have a built-in preamp and potentially more components. Now, while it is true that integrated amps generally run the risk of more internal noise and lower power output, technological advancements have taken great strides reducing distortion, making these a perfect option for someone seeking a one-and-done package. The next significant difference between types of amps is tube, or valve for those in the UK, and solid state. Tube amps are known for their distinct aesthetic. They function using glass tubes and filaments inside, thus the bulbs on top. More than just a pretty conversation piece, however, tube amps are often associated with a warmer, more rounded sound. Now, while they have a lot to offer, they need a lot to offer it. The circuitry of tube amps is complicated, so they require more power to function properly, and are often more expensive than their more technologic-looking cousin, the solid state. Solid-state amps rely on digital transistors and the associated chips instead. Because of this, solid-state tends to carry a reputation of having a colder yet more precise sound profile. While you can't show them off quite like a tube amp, solid-state amps take up less space and utilize their inner transistors to send out more power, usually with fewer parts. The last major difference between amplifiers is the power class. There are a plethora of classes, but for this video, we're just going to do a brief overview on the four main types you'll encounter: A, B, AB, and D. Class A amplifiers are always on, even with no input signal. Thanks to the drawing of constant power, they offer excellent sound quality, but are very inefficient and generate a lot of heat. Class B amplifiers have parts that switch on and off depending on the input signal, increasing efficiency, but potentially creating distortions in the sound quality. Class AB amps are a combination of the two. The output transistors in an AB amp operate in pairs, with one conducting current for positive signals and the other conducting current for negative signals. AB amps are partially drawing power at all times, making them more efficient than A, but with less distortion than B. Last on our list is Class D, which is quickly becoming more and more popular, catching up to Class AB amps. These are highly efficient, smaller, and produce much less heat. While the input audio signal is still analog, the signal is modulated and amplified through a digital switching process using something called pulse width modulation. This style of switching allows for efficient power handling and high amplification efficiency. Once modulated, the signal is then filtered and smoothed to reconstruct the amplified analog audio signal. Ultimately, the differences in classes can affect your listening experience, but it's not necessarily what you need to focus on when seeking out a new amplifier. The internal components and output abilities are more important than what its classification ends up being. When considering a new amplifier, there are several other factors to take into account. First, how many things are you plugging in, and how many things are you sending power out to? Inputs and outputs are seemingly obvious, but often underappreciated elements to think about when you're looking for a new amp. Having a range of options like XLR, RCA, Toslink, coaxial, and USB can provide flexibility and compatibility. Furthermore, think about what you have now and what you may be upgrading to. You may love your current components, but a bit of planning ahead can help save money long term. Another consideration is the level of integration you're looking for. While integrated amps with preamps and other built-in features like DACs or wireless connectivity offer convenience, they may sacrifice some sound quality and increase internal noise. Ultimately, do your homework and think about what works best for you and your system. That's the basics on stereo amplifiers. Stay tuned for a video on matching amps to speakers, and let us know if there are any other amps you want us to spotlight. As always, like and subscribe for more hi-fi audio content. I'm Josh, and I'll see you next time!